But it's Mother Nature, it's Madame Pele. You know, can go a lot of places, a lot of ways, just based on topography, geography, lava tubes, you know, faults, cracks. And right now we're just trying to, the best we can, make sure that we make good strategic decisions. And the basis of each decision gotta be, how do we help our community in Puna? How do we take care of families? So that's why these meetings will occur twice a week, all week as we move. I mean, the last couple of days it went parallel to Kaohe. And we were like, oh, right on. You know, and then it turns again and get two fingers. Like, oh, no. Come on, stop. I mean, nobody likes to see this hit 130. You know, and nobody's sitting here claiming we get all the answers. But you know what? Everybody gonna do everything we can to make sure we do the best we can to protect our community and not leave people fending for themselves.
It's still roughly 16 to 18 days from the current flow position this morning down to the highway, or the main street through Pahoa. So it's traveling right now at about 500 yards per day. So yeah, about 16 to 18, just over 2 weeks.
So the likelihood is that you'll bypass the town?
Not necessarily. Right now, this map doesn't display very well because the lines are somewhat simplified, so there aren't too many lines on here. But these lines here actually extend up into this area here. So within the next few days, there's going to be a point where the flows might either continue on this downslope path, or they could jump over into this downslope path. So I would, I can't say that this isn't going to be a direct hit. I mean, in time, next 3 or 4 days, we might know if it's going to, take one path or the other. It could always split and take both paths, and that's not out of the question either. And then again, a few more days past that, there's another point here where these two flow paths get very close together. With the width of the flow, it could easily jump into one of the other pathways as well. Right now, the two most likely pathways are this one and the one that cuts down through the garbage dump.
Right through the town.
Yeah, I mean, it's,
So 16 to 18 days.
At the current flow rate, 16 to 18 days, and I believe that's along this slightly longer path. Okay, so over the last 3 days, activity has emerged from the last crack it was in. It's begun moving toward the north. On the map here, this is the last crack, and it came out of that crack on September 6th. Since that time, it's traveled forward toward the north about 500 yards per day. So it's about 1,500 yards farther than it was on September 6th. So in 3 days, 500 yards per day. Since August 18th, lava has been traveling through a series of cracks. It would enter these ground cracks on the rift zone. It would fill those cracks up, spill out of the cracks, only to spill back into other cracks, which then carried the flow forward. So until recently, the cracks were a major player in determining how the flow would travel. It would take the flow across the topography instead of following the downslope direction. So it's only in the last few days that lava has actually escaped from the crack system and appears to be moving across the ground as a single flow. There's no indication that lava still is entering new cracks and spreading and capturing part of the flow. At the moment, it's been north and it's just turning slightly toward the northeast. It's essentially following this downslope path that's been calculated from the surface model of the topography. So there are some small fingers that are branching off of this flow, but they're fairly ephemeral to the overall direction of movement, which is still toward sort of slightly east of north. So this map shows, on here, the blue lines are downslope calculations. They show a single line where the flow might be likely to travel. The map that was shown that had the different colors, the broader lines, is actually taking the same sort of surface as was used to produce this map, these lines, and instead you run one projection, you add a little bit of uncertainty to the base data, you add some error of a few feet, or take away a few feet from that surface, run the line again. And so over time, if you run enough lines, you can see some of the uncertainty in the topography surface, and that builds a broader flow, downflow path. So rather than having a single line, it shows you more likely what will happen if the flows go in this direction, because it builds in some of the uncertainty in how the downflow paths might project.
And so, but based on the unpredictability and uncertainty, we try to make certain decisions. And I just humbly and respectfully thank everybody for their patience. And I just trust that we get good people trying their best every day to make really good decisions. We're going to cut through. I mean, if 24 hours, 24 hours. If we got to fly in, the engineers, tree cutters, you know, work around the clock to make sure Lower Puna get access post-impact on 1:30, we're going to do that. And so the resources are there, the expertise is there. We just got to know what and when.
Let's do it.
Okay, thanks you guys. Mahalo.